Hello everyone, my name is Reza. I am going to start introducing our course project for you. Me and my friend Saeid was working on developing a smart route recommendation system using mobile sensors for the trucks for sure. The problem, briefly recap the problem, we actually wanted to optimize the routing for the truck drivers in a real time. We wanted to increase the safety of the truck drivers in extreme weather conditions, and we wanted to help the truck drivers to be able to better plan for their future trips using their mobile phone. So we came up by developing an application that is able to doing the routing for the truck drivers. The user gives a start point and an end point, and the result would be the best route between these 2 points. We also have developed an AI method to forecast the traffic prediction, because when we want to actually offer the optimum route, we need to be able to consider the traffic, the real-time traffic, or even the future traffic, because our application user is able to actually plan for the future trips. And we also consider the weather conditions, especially extreme weather conditions, to make sure the safety of the drivers. And we wanna we have a feature that helps the truck drivers to better plan if they have multiple destinations. We help them to better plan to start from where, and then go after that to which points. This is planning. So our application have 2 sides, one server side and one front end. My friend Saeid is actually working on the front end, and I am working on the server side. So in the server side, as I mentioned, we have our database, we have our AI method for traffic prediction, and we have our algorithms for the routing and for the plannings. And I'm going to explain to you the server side. They were my responsibility for being able to do all of the things that I mentioned. We need a couple of data to first. They have to be collected first. The first one is the road network. We collect that from OpenStreetMap, and then we need some sources to give us a real-time traffic status. So we downloaded, we wrote a nice script to download the traffic data from the city portal. City portals provide us some permanent station traffic status, but as you can see, these are the permanent station are red circles in the map, and as you can see, these are not too many, and they are not covering all part of the city. So we used another API, TomTom API. It also gives us the traffic status of the streets. So in the blue points, you can see on the map, we put our benchmark in the blue points to cover up almost all of the important streets in the cities, and we use the TomTom traffic API to get the traffic the status for these segments, and we are going to use these data as for our source of traffic data when we are doing the routing. And also we need the weather data. We collect the weather data from weatherapi.com, which has a free plan for us, and we can collect that. And so for the codes, I use the Python language for developing the API. I use the Flask technology. Some of the packages I used was NetworkX, OpenStreetMap packages on the Python, and we used PostgreSQL on a hierarchy server as our database. So let's go to the code part. I briefly show the codes to you. This is the API folder of our project, and here we have a couple of scripts. For example, this traffic collector script is responsible for collecting the traffic data, as I said, from the city portal and from the TomTom, and the result will be saved into this traffic prediction folder. And here we have our AI method, our deep learning method that gives the historical data and real-time data, and the results are the traffic prediction status. And and I should mention that these two scripts, this AI model and this traffic collector, are running in the behind, are running frequently, because we need to have real-time data every hour, and so these scripts are continuously running frequently, so we can update our graph every hour. And we have another script, utils, which includes all utility functions for my API, and we have the routing act.py, which is the core actually base of my codes, which you can see here. As you can see, the first we connect to our database, which is on the hierarchy servers. This function actually checks the tokens, if the token is valid, and then the user can get the results. And here I have a function of login, because if the user do not have the token, it can log in with its username and password, and if it exists in the database, the new token will be generated. And in the routing actually path, we have our first algorithm, which is routing. It gives something like this. It gives the coordinates, it gets the coordinates of the start point and end point, and then it offers the best routes between these two points, considering the traffic condition. And in the VRP, we have the a bit complicated problem when the truck driver wants to go to several destinations, to multiple destinations. It gives the points, the start point and the destinations, and then the VRP problem is solved. The VRP problem, vehicle routing problem, will be solved, and the results will actually be shared for the user. So let's see the functionality of the actually API. Here I use Postman here, for example. As the first one, for example, let's check if the user do not give the token, if the API will get the answer. And you can see here it says token is missing. And let's give it some fake token, for example, here, to check if we have a not valid token, what happens. It again do not get the answer. So here, as I mentioned, we have a login here. We can use the basic authentications. I actually, this is the username and password of the user, and this is the token will be generated. Let's check if the username and password is wrong, what happens. For example, this could not verify me. Yeah, and here I will take the token and I will check it here. I hope it can get there. So oh, here the header is different. Yeah, the header is API key. Yeah, it recognized that, and it is thinking, and the algorithm is running behind to get the answer. And yeah, so we can see the answer is ready here. This is actually the JSON object, and our application will get this the JSON object and show the routes on the map. Let us try, because the last time the key was different. Let us the fake one. Yeah, here it says the token is not valid. And Yeah, this is another function. This is the routing one. It gets a start and an end point, and it calculates the okay, this should be routing. It will calculate the routes, and again it is our results. You can see this is the distance, the maximum distance between 2 points, the duration, and all of these data will be showed on the map. And my friend Saeid will continue showing the application and the functionality of the application to you. Thank you all.
Hello everyone. Thank you, Reza, for your great explanation about the API and the rest of the project. So our application, as you can see here, is about truck routing and trip planning, and also forecasting the weather and showing it on the map, and trip planning. As you can see, this is the UI of the application, and you can see some of the information about the application, and you can skip it or press got it, and at the end you can press got it and go to the next activity. This activity is for registering new users or login with an existing username and password. Because I have already a password, I'm gonna log in. My login is something simple, just for the purpose of test. Here it is connecting with the server that we have on the Heroku and getting if the username is true or false. So as you can see, our connection failed, and if the connection fails, a toast will be shown. And I'm gonna try another time, and we can see that it went through that. Okay, as you can see, this is based on the Mapbox maps, and we can see many icons here. Basically, these are the depots that the truck can go if something happens. These are for the purpose of testing, and there should be other depots for the truck to go. So as you can see, we can turn these layers on and off, and yeah, I'm gonna keep them on. This is my location right here, and as we can see here, I can show some of the settings, or if I want to log out, we can log out. And so the user can select where to go. Basically, this list will be shown if he or she selects something. And if I select, for instance, this location right here, it will be shown here, and I'm gonna check it through. And then the next location, which is our destination, and I'm gonna select this one, and as you can see, it will be selected. I'm gonna check it through again. So now it is connecting to the routing API, and as you can see, the routing API shows the location of the start and the end of the trip. And as you can see, this location is not our location, and for the purpose of the explanation, I developed a simulation function to simulate what happens for the driver itself. So basically, if the driver wants to use this app, this will happen. I'm gonna press start navigation, and as you can see, the location of the driver will be shown, and this is a simulation. And the trip info is basically what is about the location of the truck. As you can see, this dialog will be shown, and will show the some of the contextual information about this trip. The last chart is the temperature of the temperature forecast for the next 10 hours, and the chance of rain and chance of snow are based on the weather API that we have, and Reza explained already about those. And yeah, so this was the map and the application. I'm gonna stop the navigation. As you can see, the simulation will stop, and we can go back to the normal and select from the beginning. Now let me explain about the functions of the app, and yeah, thank you. Okay, now we are in Android Studio. This application is based on integration of two programming languages, basically Kotlin and Android Java. So this is an Android manifest.xml. As you can see, there are some of these permissions that I am granting, and there are four main activities. One of them is log reg, as we saw. This activity has two fragments: login step 1 and register step 1. And the main activity is where we saw the map. These ones are this one actually our splash screen, the first screen that we had, and the stepper wizard color. And let's go see what's going on here. As you can see, this application is based on MVC architecture, and these activities are activities basically, and the adapter is generating our list. The API is handling our API requests, and the API interface is basically our interface for our API and where to go when we are connecting to the base URL. The data is generating some data for us basically, and also it is handling our shared preferences functions. This is our model, which, as you can see, there is a weather model that we are handling the JSON request response that we had from the weather API here. And let's go see inside. We have some serialized names that are handling the weather API for us. And this one is the places that we saw in the dialog box that we opened. This one is handling our route, basically just one serialized name, and this is a routing result that we saw on the map, basically that line that we draw. And the other one is a user that is not so important. This is actually for logging in, and this one says if the login was successful or not. So the response is that. The utils is some animations, tools, and location permission helper that we have. And the widgets are, one of them is the dot actually stepper that we had in the stepper activity. And these are our layouts, and these are also associated with those activities that I explained up there. And this is our drawers, basically the resources that are used in the application. And the values, for instance, some of these strings and mapbox access token, routing API token, and the string data, which is some dummy data for us, and dimensions, colors, and array. Basically, array is the locations that we saw in that dialog box, and each of these locations are associated with those. And in our build Gradle, we can see which libraries we used. This one is for drawing the chart, and the other ones also are handling some of these functionalities for us. And the minimum SDK is 25 and target SDK is 32. And so yeah, this was it. Thank you for your attention. See you.